Greetings from Bulgaria. I'm Volk, and this is the last video with preview of all the class changes based on the developer blogs BioWare has been releasing every week for the upcoming expansion and patch 4.0 Knights of the Fallen Empire. Today we will be talking about Sage and Sorcerer. Say hello to Lek. You may have seen him in some very old videos, or maybe in my previous video talking about the major global changes for the Inquisitor and Consular, because after that, of course, I switched to my Shadow to be able to portray, display, and talk about abilities and changes with some nice video overlay. Anyway, I wanna give you a smile, or attempt to give you a smile by doing this. You may remember this set. Lek is still using the old Columian Trakata gear, only the shells, of course. The mods inside are a total mess. So anyway, whenever you see maybe some random stats or DPS numbers here throughout the video, don't pay attention. There, my character is not balanced, so don't aim to achieve this, or don't think that this is any relative for the current state of the class. With this mentioned, I think it is time to jump. Whoa. Yep, that is actually the live developer stream, because it is very late Friday night. It's actually 1 in the morning for me already, or 1 after midnight. But anyway, a very quick display that I want to talk, like I do in all of these videos. Global changes for all of the classes that BioWare is preparing. This article that I am using is the very first blog post they published for the Warrior and Jedi Knight changes. But we're only interested in this part, the global changes. I will go over them again, because I know that not everybody cares to watch and listen all of my videos, and you might just be interested in the classes I will be talking about today. So, general class and combat changes, utility grant levels. Now you get utility choice points at the following levels to prevent excessive power inflation with each expansion. So BioWare is planning way ahead with many more expansions. And to ensure a choice was present at level 65. 65 is the new level cap, and just like always, it's important when you reach the new level cap to feel awesome and uber and not very overpowered with a shiny new ability. So, we still get only 7 points in our utility section to spend, regardless of the fact that we are moving 5 levels ahead. Due to balancing and BioWare focusing primarily on the story with this update and this expansion, we will not get a new utility point, because this will require another huge amount of balancing and testing. Anyway, BioWare is changing or altering the levels when we will receive those utility points. Currently, you see we have 1 for 11, 19, 1 for 27. This BioWare calls tier 1. I don't know why, because if you desire, you can spend all of your available points in tier 1. If you really want to have all of them, you're not required to spend 3 to 2 like the blog says. But anyway, the new levels we will receive utility points are 17, 25, and 33. Changes from 11, 19, and 27. The 4th and the 5th utility points will be granted to us at level 41 and 49 instead of 35 and 43. The last 6 and 7 point will be granted to us at level 57 instead of 51, and the final one, as mentioned already, 65 instead of level 60. Back again with a very quick display. The last 2 points are 43, the last 3 points are 43, 51, and 60. But there is another change. Level 60 will be occupied by this passive. We will talk about that in a moment. Some other major global changes that aren't really changing too much, but they are worth mentioning. Starting at level 10, you will get a new discipline-specific active ability, just like we do now, every 16 levels. And the only change compared to when Discipline 3 or specs were introduced with patch 3.0, you are now getting abilities at level 42 instead of 41, and 58 instead of 57, because of that 16 level gap BioWare wants to ensure between learning new abilities. Similar changes are happening to the passive discipline abilities. We will start learning them at level 12, earning them more likely, not learning. The only change compared to 3.0 is that instead of getting a level 59 passive skill, you will get one at level 60. Here is that level 59 passive I've mentioned being moved to level 60 because the previous one is 56 and 56 plus 4 is, woohoo, we've guessed it correct. We can move on to the next article because this one will tell us some of the important details about the class we're talking about today, Sorcerer and Sage. One thing worth mentioning is a global change to Phase Walk. It has been moved into the Inquisitor Consular base class, granting its use to sorceresses and sages as well. It can be trained or granted at level 61, so this means everybody will be able to Phase Walk from now on. What was the reason for BioWare to do that? Let's read it. With 4.0, we wanted to give assassins and shadows a better way to stealthily approach or return to their enemy target, and their new ability was specifically designed to do just that. If you want to learn more about the assassins and shadows, obviously visit my video overview about their changes. For sorcerers and sages, BioWare wanted to give them an additional way to escape, so they made Phase Walk available to them. Simple enough reason, and I would want to say very valid one. Sages are already kind of strong because of many changes made to them since they were weak around the ages of 2.4 to 2.8. If you remember the nightmare times when they really struggled in DF and DP, well, a good player can always make the best out of his class, but seriously, those were the weaker times of the class. Specifically as a healer is what I meant actually. I don't know why I'm talking global. Anyway, going through the disciplines, Corruption and Seer is the first one. That's the healing tree for the class. The new passive skill here is called Secrets of the Dark Side or Erudite Mender. It increases healing done by roaming or wandering mend by 5% and reduces the force it consumes by 10. So boost of heals and less force used. Very nice. Revivification and Salvation is now trained at level 42 instead of 41. This, I must admit, by far is my favorite name for an ability. For the sorcerer, I mean. Revivification. Holy crap. Next change, these are all generics, by the way, but I should read them anyway. The next change is to Roaming or Wandering Man. It is now trained at level 58 instead of 57 because of the level 16 levels gap between active abilities. Remember, these surrounded by green border are the specific abilities for the discipline. You will never be able to use Wandering Man if you decide to play telekinetics, for example, or balance or whatever. Just in case you are not familiar with the specifics or details, decided to throw that in. What was the last change? Dark Concentration or Altruism is now trained at level 60 instead of 59. All of these mentioned abilities retain their titles and their descriptions for now. Everything is subject to change, but they will be trained or learned. It's wrong to say trained because we actually get them for free. Everything that is here on the left side of the discipline tree we get for free. As soon as we level up, this one becomes active to us. We don't need to visit a trainer to learn it. The second discipline is called Lightning or Telekinetics. The new passive skill here is called Fulgurious Fortification or Telekinetic Refuge. Lightning Bolt, Telekinetic Burst, stacks damage reduction on the Sorcerer, stacks up to 3 times lasting 10 seconds. Each stack provides 3% damage reduction. Not so bad. Lightning Flash and Telekinetic Gust is now trained at level 42 instead of 41, again generic change. Lightning Bolt or Telekinetic Burst is moving up to level 58 instead of 57. Charged Reaction or Mental Continuum is being moved to level 60, up from 59. These are, again, like with most of the other classes, very generic changes, which means that you won't have to rejuggle and relearn leveling process. For example, if you remember what they attempt to do with, what was it, the Agent, they reshuffled a few skills there and with the Bounty Hunter as well. BioWare is attempting to rebalance things, but many people are already complaining that this will completely ruin the leveling experience. I can't be sure because I haven't leveled up yet any of those with 4.0, only time will tell. The last discipline is Madness or Balance. The new passive skill here is called Fulminating Current or Psychokinetic Torrent. Force Lightning or Telekinetic Throw stacks up to 4 stacks of an effect that increases the critical chance of your periodic effects by 2% per stack. Force Leech, Force Serenity is now trained at level 42 instead of 41, the first generic change. The second generic change is that Demolish or Vanquish is moving up to 58 from 57, and the last one, as it can be expected, Devour or Mind's Eye is now trained at level 60 instead of 59. Not much is happening with the Sorcerer and Sage, I must admit. The new passive do seem appealing, although mostly for PvP purposes, but most of the changes so far that BioWare has announced are all aimed at PvP, with maybe an exception for my favorite class Marauder, although there are some other issues that I personally commented already in my blog post on my website and in the video itself. Anyway, let's keep talking about the Sage and Sorcerer. The 3 new utilities that will be granted, like with every other class, are as follows. For Tier 1 Skillful, the name is Dark Speed or Benevolent Haste. A completed Dark Heal activation increases your target's movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. This cannot happen more often than 12 seconds. I see absolutely no purpose for this utility outside of PvP environment. Sounds like a fantastic boost though for PvP, it gives a lot of extra mobility. For Tier 2, the Masterful tier, the new utility is called Dizzying Force. When Whirlwind or Force Lift ends, target's accuracy is reduced by 20% for 8 seconds. And there is another important change here. BioWare is finally making some real movements. We are talking about the utility called Backlash or Kinetic Collapse. It remains the same, but it has been moved from Tier 2 up to Tier 3. And obviously, we will learn in a moment which one of the utilities is moving from Tier 3 down to Tier 2. Now, we go to Tier 3, the Heroic. The new utility here will be called Shifting Silhouette or Ethereal Entity. I love reading those names, really love, and I'm almost certain you enjoy listening to me struggle reading them. Using Face Walk to return to its market location grants Shifting Silhouette or Ethereal Entity, keeping you from being leapt to or pulled and making you immune to interrupts and ability activation pushbacks for the next 6 seconds. Very cool and obviously very useful for PvP. The utility that aforementioned is moving from Tier 3 to Tier 2 is called Conspiring Force or Confound. It has been moved down to Tier 2 because we can't have more than the specific set amount of utilities, and when BioWare moved one from Tier 2 up to Tier 3, they immediately switched places and moved another one from Tier 2 down to Tier 2. The last change for the Tier 3 Heroic is here within the Force Mobility utility. It has been updated. In addition to the other abilities it already allows you to use while moving, it now also allows you to use Force Barrier while moving as well. I must say this sounds like a very interesting what's next. That would allow you to force speed through that. Why not? This is my hopefully brief overview or preview of the changes coming to the Sith Sorcerer and Jedi Sage classes. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have missed, all of my other videos are available in the same playlist and its link is here somewhere as an annotation, or if you don't see annotations, you can also find the link down below in the video description. Thank you guys for watching the video. Have a free laugh at my expense for me struggling reading all of the new names of all of the new abilities. You know that I always do that. It doesn't matter how long I've been playing and reading those names, I always keep struggling. See you with the next video. Bye bye. Remember, you can find me also on Twitch, Twitter and Facebook. For my non-Star Wars activities, I invite you to subscribe to my second YouTube channel.